Father Gregory, yeah. I prefer that you introduce yourself. My name is Father Gregory Dodekopoulos, president of the Church Academy in Salonika. We thank the speakers very much for these excellent and interesting speeches. I have one question for Father Patrick. Have you ever thought that all this virtual reality that we are discussing presupposes a physical presence? I mean, when I have a personal contact to another person, my confessor, my instructor, as you put it, I can have a Skype session with him, and so he could help me continue this physical contact. And you mentioned Saint Maximus the Confessor. Most of the views of Saint Maximus the Confessor were transferred through his letters to Thalassius. We have hundreds of letters to Thalassius. So there was a personal contact with Thalassius, and then this personal contact was continued through a remote communication using the technology of that era, which was the correspondence in writing. This facilitated the contact between the two men. So what would you have to comment on this?
Okay, there's no question. We have the New Testament itself, for example. We have the writings of the holy prophets and apostles through text, right? Papyrus, then codex, and printing press, and so on. No, this is not in question, and my comments are really adjusted to the highest level of truly human encounter. Yes, there's no question that long and very profound spiritual conversations have developed between spiritual father and son, daughter, mother, and so on. And we have the great writings, the sermons of Chrysostomos, and all the great fathers of the church, all through writing and through technological means. But this does not replace the Eucharist. This does not replace the human encounter itself. And this is what I want to assert. There's a kind of Protestantizing principle involved here. In other words, if we say it's all on the same level, then really in the end, you could just turn the liturgy on your TV, put your hand on the screen, and invite the epiklesis, come down through the TV and into you. But we don't do this. You have to be present. Or the priest comes to your home. And this is the part I'm wanting to assert. The difference between things, we must make a difference, a distinction between the levels of encounter. That's all my presentation is trying to do.
Thank you, Father. Ακόμα καμία ερώτηση?
Is there any more question? Any other question? Yes, please. At the back of the room, please use a microphone. And introduce yourself. Vasilios Nikolitsis is my name. Hello. In all humility, I would like to add to the remark made by Father Coleman that those who claim that if Jesus was living today would use the internet are actually walking on a dangerous, slippery, and suspicious path. In other words, they substitute the Lord by saying what the Lord would do. That would be arbitrary, even if we were speaking of a human being. Perhaps this is what they're trying to do, and they are putting aside the substance of the image and substance of God, which is given to man. Thank you for the comment, and we can take one more question. Christ has risen. Zamanda Antigone is my name. I'm a teacher, theologian, and recently my pupils raised a question to me, and I would like to hear your answer. If confession is possible via Skype for extreme cases, the question is for whom? Father Patrick, perhaps.
Let me tell you what our metropolitan, our bishop says. He says, look, if you have to make confession, find somebody to go to. He says, I do not approve, this is now what his pastoral advice is for us priests to obey. I don't approve of confession over the phone, is what he calls it. Look, it's okay to communicate your faults and your failures with your spiritual father, your confessor, but confession as a holy mystery of the church requires a direct encounter in which the word of forgiveness, like Jesus coming into the midst of the disciples in the upper room, we just commemorated this. He did not come from a distance. He stood in their midst and he said, Irini imin, peace to you. He didn't like send the word from somewhere else. He came and was with them. And he came again for Thomas because he wasn't present. Thomas didn't have a separate answer. He came and touched him. It allowed Thomas to touch him. So this is the point here. It doesn't mean that you cannot communicate. My spiritual father lives hundreds of miles away from me. I can't just go and drop everything to go make my confession. Yet I do when I need to. So we communicate, but then Holy Confession is on its own level.
May I add one?
Please.
Thank you. Yeah, very brief. Yeah. We have such reality. I am from Georgia, and you know, after collapsing the Soviet Union, we faced a lot of problems, and the main problems is the new immigration. And because of this problem, there are the many people are depart our country, and they went to another to find some facilities of life. And we faced one problem, that people who came in other countries, they faced such problems that they don't understand the local language. I mean, the language which is spoken by the local, and they have such a problem that they do not have possibility to go and to say the confession. And there is just one facilities through Skypes to have contact with their spiritual fathers and to somehow to receive some commandments, some guidance in the spiritual life. And I think in this case, I think the Skype is the best facilities to have a contact with new immigration and the people and their spiritual fathers.
Thank you very much. Ευχαριστώ και για την ερώτηση.
Thank you for the question, and I can see that this first session has been quite exciting. It was a very good start, a very good opening, which has forced the ground for deepening. And I think that the next days we are going to have this cooperation on many different levels, because this is a very deep issue. And of course, this conference is an opportunity for us to share our experience and also have a deep and important reflection on these subjects.